Would you like to see football wherever you are in the world?
With NordVPN, you can get premium protection online and set your location so you never miss a minute of the content you usually enjoy.
Go to nordvpn.com/TSUW to get 72% off a 2-year plan plus 3 additional months absolutely free.
Welcome. It is the Sheffield United way. My name is Hal. We have a match preview coming right at you right now. Middlesbrough, the opposition for us, and Neil Warnock's Borough. They sit 18th on 9 points. The Blades 11th on 12 points. I also want to remind you this is a 7:45 p.m. kickoff. We're also on the march to 15k subscribers on YouTube. And if we get there, it means absolutely nothing, but we'd love to do it nonetheless. So if you haven't, please do subscribe. Our watch along arrives on this channel with myself and Statsman Adam tomorrow. That is Tuesday at 7:15 in the PM. Also, I want to take a moment to give a shout out to all our members. If you'd like to be a member, it's literally a case of just supporting the channel, and everything that you contribute goes back in to the channel. All the names down below. We love each and every one of you. And another person I'm very fond of is Bobby in the background, now forever to be known as Bobby in the foreground. Bobby, how you doing?
I'm doing all right. It was a great day at Bramwell Lane on Saturday. So, hopefully can make it a consecutive win in the league. And yeah, on to Tuesday night. Absolutely. The referee for the game is James Linnington. Are you going to do what Nick always does? Give me a big sigh. I mean, I wouldn't give you... you know what? I'm going to do the opposite. Wow. What a ref.
He's from Newport in Wales. He's issued 27 yellows this season, no reds, and I'm not going to say what I did for the Derby game because I don't want a red card in this game. My heart can't take it. Last time he took charge of the Blades was back in 2018, a 4-1 win against Aston Villa. So a good omen. I did mention the Derby County game in that preview, Bobby. I said that there would definitely be a red card. You're now going to take us through that previous match where you were in attendance with me in the Bramwell Lane Upper.
I was. And before we get into the ins and outs of what actually happened, how about we talk about some parts of our day? What do you reckon?
I mean, there's some bits I'm not that keen on remembering. What are you thinking of specifically?
Well, yeah, I've got a few bits listed here. Well, first of all, we literally just got out the car. We started walking, and Nick gets recognised. Inga Nick. And how did you respond, Hal?
I didn't handle it particularly well. I shouted to these lads, "I'm right here," and they still just were interested in Nick. So yeah, fair enough. He's the more famous of the two.
Yeah, I mean, he is a celebrity, isn't he?
Yeah.
He's big time.
He's big in the game.
He is. Then, we arrive at the lane, and why not? We thought, both of you have bricks on the wall, so we were like, show Bobby that. Took us quite a while actually thinking about it, finding them, but we found Nick's eventually, and his was actually spotless. It was quite weird.
It was we're going to call him from now on New Brick Nick.
Yeah, New Brick Nick.
It was just like so polished, so clean. It stood out from all the others where the sun has faded them. And for some reason, his just looks like it's brand new and being touched up. I also thought I would obviously then show you my brick with just a few walls down in the Bob Booker wall. And I don't know if anyone else has got their brick on the Bob Booker wall, but it's blocked. It's blocked off by a ticket collection point and some sort of barrier in front of it. So my brick has been completely obstructed and you cannot see it. That's 2 in a row, big blows that I was trying to impress Bobby. And it was certainly not big time Hal.
Not big time Hal at all. And you really hate to see it, we've got to be honest.
Yeah, thanks, Bobby.
Then once we parted ways with Nick,
there's more.
He probably there's plenty. He probably had more of an eventful day than me and you, because first of all, I don't actually know the ins and outs, but he got given a £5. I'm sure you can explain how.
Yeah, so I was thanking all our members, including one unofficial member, giving Nick a fiver at that Derby game, and Bobby, us not getting our cut. I mean, Nick sees someone who literally gives him £5. He just trousered it.
Yeah, I know. I mean, I was expecting my £1.50. I mean, where's that gone?
Expecting my 25p, absolutely.
Where is that gone? And then after that,
There's more.
He sees Saabs. He sees
Carlos
Saabs.
Saba. And we saw absolutely nobody famous. Although I will say, of all the people that we did bump into, Bobby, that was nice, wasn't it? People stopping us and saying hi.
Yeah, I know, and it's always good to see that your work getting recognised. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
It's just nice. It gives you that warm feeling. Anyway, on to the actual game itself. We beat Derby County 1-0. It was a Billy Sharp penalty. It was in the 89th minute. There was 10 men. But, you know, it's 3 points, and 3 points is 3 points. If the Blaze do get promoted at the end of the season, it's one you got to look back and think, well, just had to get those 3 points. It was quite an unbelievable handball, looking back at it, from Curtis Davis that led to the penalty, is a cross in by Conor Howran, who, as you may see in a bit with my team news, I've put in my preferred lineup, but we'll get onto that in a bit later. It wasn't really a game for the neutral, was it? The first half was quite tiring, actually. You know what I mean? You know, when you just get that feeling, it's just... But
should have got you a coffee.
I know. I actually did need a coffee that day. But in the end, it was... Blaze were very lucky to escape with the 3 points. Curtis Davis knocked down a Ryan Alsop free kick to Tom Lawrence, who, looking back on it, really did take his first touch brilliantly. Took it past Egan, beating Olsen, and hit the post.
And I nearly missed it. You had to nudge me.
I did nearly miss it. I did nudge you.
What was I doing?
Messaging Wayne Quinn.
So, you know, bigger things taking priority. Well surmised, Bobby. With that, I'm really glad you enjoyed the day. We're also going to look at last time out. So this was the last time that we played Middlesbrough at the Borough, and we have to go all the way back to Tuesday, the 7th of August, 2018. It was not a memorable one. Martin Braithwaite poked in an early Lewis wing corner for the opener before Aidan Flint, who's always had been a thorn in the Blade's side, doubled the lead with a header. It was his home debut for the Borough as well. Stuart Downing made it 3-0 inside 25 minutes, and that was all she wrote. It was also on TV, which is not a good omen. Awful. Let's never speak of that game ever again. Right, you alluded to it. You teased us with your team news and predicted lineup. Bobby, what you got?
Well, I mean, I'll kick it off with the team news, actually, because, you know, why not? We all want to know a bit of team news. We've got Moose and McGoldrick both training on the grass. Still don't really think either are going to be on the bench, though. And then we've also got Sander Berger. Got a hamstring injury against Hull. Still not very sure. I've got a quote from Slav. He said that he could be available for some of these next 2 games. His injury history is not so short, so we must care about him. We cannot force him or take some big risks. Don't know what to make of that. But anyway, we'll jump quickly into my preferred there. In goal, we've got Robin Olsen. There was actually one moment where Tom Lawrence had a shot and he spilled it. I don't know if you can remember that one, Hal. Yeah,
that was in the second half shot, yeah? Yeah, I do remember that, and it wasn't exactly what I wanted to see. And also, when you think about how well 𝐍𝐸𝐿𝐴 has actually performed in the few occasions he's had, you know, if Robin Olsen wasn't Robin Olsen and Sweden's number 1 and was just Robin Smith, who we'd signed from non-league, you'd actually be looking at it and saying, well, perhaps Wes deserves to start. But I think we know from his pedigree and his career that Olsen is arguably the best keeper Sheffield United will have ever signed.
Yeah, but I mean, we all love a bit of Liga One Wes, don't we?
We absolutely do, yeah. I mean, doesn't initially fill me with confidence, let's put it that way.
Yeah, true. I mean, we've all seen the clip, haven't we? Anyway, we'll move on. Same back 4 that ended the game on Saturday. I've gone for. I don't know if you actually realised, but in the first half, Wayne Rooney had a tactical. How would you say it? Tactical.
Well, it was a plan that.
Stroke.
If it was a masterstroke, I think it would be a masterstroke if the Sam Baldock versus George Baldock had actually worked in Derby's favour, but it didn't quite. And if anything, George won the battle over the piece because his older brother Sam, of the three brothers, actually got substituted and had to move into the centre because he wasn't getting a lot of joy against George, who at one point threw him to the ground, which I particularly liked. And you know the Baldock family, don't you?
I do. They went to my current school that I'm at, and his mum was my assistant head teacher for quite a while. So that's some fun facts for you.
Yeah, and I said there's three brothers. Only two of them are footballers. The other brother, we understand, works in a hospital. I believe is a doctor.
I think so. But yeah. Anyway, moving on. We've got John Egan and Ben Davis at the back. I actually think Ben Davis is quality. There was a couple of moments in that game against Derby where he just kind of let the ball bounce and let it run, and it was just pure class. And then at left back, I've gone for Ender Stevens over Reece Norrington Davis. Some would say quite controversial. I don't really know. I thought Stevens looked decent when he came on, and also against Southampton. And there was a couple of times in the first half where Reece Norrington Davis had a couple of miscommunications maybe with Ben Osborne. There was a couple of Egan long balls that tried to spread out to the left, and obviously he got taken off as well. So it's never great to see. And with Ender coming back, there's going to be quite a decent fight for that position.
I agree.
Moving into midfield, we've got Norwood and Horahan. This one, I think, sparked a bit of debate on Twitter, really, as well as the Ndiaye kind of debate. I personally thought Ollie Norwood played very well. He's getting back to the Norwood ping that we all like.
Yes,
I think Fleck was. I wouldn't say a bystander, but I mean, I pointed out to you a couple of times how. I mean, he was very deep.
Yeah, and I think Fleck's game is getting the ball and driving forward. And you're right, we didn't see quite as much of that. I thought Norwood played exceptionally well. Horahan with his set pieces against the big boys of Borough, that certainly makes sense. But your team, I've got to be honest, when we get further up the final third, it does lack that physicality and it does lack that height. And we saw with Ndiaye that awful header against Derby, but he completely misjudged it. Is he any good in the air? Well, maybe, because we saw him against Peterborough be good in the air. We need to see more. It's a too small a sample size for me to know what Ndiaye is like against big defenders.
And then, obviously there's a case for Ndiaye getting switched out for maybe Ollie McBurney, maybe two up front. I don't know. It's hard to really tell. I think Slav would probably want to stick with his formation, won't he? So it's maybe Brewster comes in. Who knows? But that's the same front four that I've gone for: Morgan Gibbs-White, Illiman Ndiaye, Ben Osborne, and Billy Sharp, because he scores goals. Get the flag back up, boys.
Get that banner back at Bramall Lane on the Cop. Let us know in the comments, either now if you're watching live or if you're watching later, what you think the score is going to be. Bobby and I are going to get to our score prediction in just a moment. So let's look at the opposition 11. Neil Warnock, of course, a Blade, the manager now of Middlesbrough. He believes his time in charge of Sheffield United put the foundations in for the success that followed at Bramall Lane, which is certainly debatable. The club will be, this is Middlesbrough now, without Hernandez, the winger from Norwich. He was missing for that Reading defeat. He's expected to be unavailable once again. He's still got a hamstring injury. It seems to be the similar kind of knock that Sander Berge took as well. Matt Crooks is available. Now, he wasn't just a few hours ago, but his red card has been overturned. He picked that up in that 1-0 defeat at Reading. The hosts will be without 𝐍𝐸𝐽𝐿, who is set to be out of action until probably after the international break now. Positive news, they've got Paddy McNair and Mark Bowler back in full training. Borough play a 4-2-3-1. Who doesn't these days? With Lumley in goal, Peltier, McNair, Fry, Bowler, who I just mentioned, Johnny Howson, Matt Crooks, who I also said is back after that overturned red card, Tavernier, very much a dangerous player, Piero, Jones, and their sole striker, Spora. All right, Bobby, let's get your please first score prediction for Middlesbrough versus Sheffield United.
I'm going with Middlesbrough 1, Sheffield United 2.
Okay, I like it. I'm going to go with 1-0 Blades. From all the Borough fans I know, and I know a few because I used to live up that way, they're saying we're going to hammer them. Now, that's not going to happen because they've just watched their team. We've watched the Blades. We know we tend to not, away from home, hammer teams. So I'll take a 1-0 Billy Sharp. Absolutely be delighted with either of our predictions. Our watch along is at 7:15 tomorrow. Nick is very much celebrating today and a little bit of tomorrow. Nick will be at the game. He's not with us right now. It's his birthday tomorrow. Do send him some nice birthday wishes on social media at InGoodNick17. Now let's look at player connections, Bobby. I'd like you to start with the first of the played for both.
I'm going to go with Besic. Now, Besic, 29 years old, Bosnian defensive midfielder. He's known to be quite aggressive and strong, but he can also be very technical. He played for Middlesbrough in 2018. He joined in January 2018 on loan from Everton after returning from an ACL tear from the previous season, rather. He finished the season with the Borough and then extended his time there for the next season. For the 18-19 season, he made 56 appearances in total, 3 goals with the Borough. Now, with Sheffield United, I wouldn't say it's his most memorable time at a football club. He made 13 appearances in total, 1 goal, coming in an FA Cup 5th round tie with Millwall in a 2-0 away win. And, he didn't make too many appearances for the Blades, did he?
No, but that goal against Millwall was a thriker, and he gave everything. He was fantastic in those few appearances. I think a lot of Blades wanted him to stick around, so I was slightly disappointed when he didn't. I think it's very unlikely he'll ever be back in red and white. Hasn't really played any football since he left Bramall Lane. I think it's absolutely bizarre. He's such a talented player. I'm going to give you 𝐍𝐸𝐿𝐵𝐿𝐵𝐿𝐵𝐿𝐵𝐿𝐵𝐿𝐵𝐿𝐵𝐿𝐵𝐿𝐵𝐿𝐵𝐿𝐵𝐿𝐵𝐿𝐵𝐿𝐵𝐿𝐵𝐿𝐵𝐿𝐵𝐿𝐵𝐿𝐵𝐿𝐵𝐿𝐵𝐿𝐵𝐿𝐵𝐿𝐵𝐿𝐵𝐿𝐵𝐿𝐵𝐿𝐵𝐿𝐵𝐿𝐵𝐿𝐵𝐿𝐵𝐿𝐵𝐿𝐵𝐿𝐵𝐿𝐵𝐿𝐵𝐿𝐵𝐿𝐵𝐿𝐵𝐿𝐵𝐿𝐵𝐿𝐵𝐿𝐵𝐿𝐵𝐿𝐵𝐿 on the left in that Borough kit when he was under Brian Robson's tutelage, and there he is in that Blades kit under Howard Kendall, and then Nigel Spackman for Middlesbrough, 95-97, 41 appearances in the league, 10 goals, but a much better goal return for Sheffield United, only 34 appearances, but 19 goals. He then went on to Barnsley, played the same amount of games, but scored 10 goals less. Just so fondly remembered. What a player. I really enjoyed him. One of the best finishers I think I've ever seen. A goal against Stockport, I remember, in a 5-1 where he sort of stepped over it, hit it with the other foot. Just fabulous player, a showman, a real entertainer.
My second one, I'm going to go with current Sheffield United player. I'm going to go with 𝐍𝐨𝐫𝐝. I mean, we all love him already, don't we? He's 35 years old, Algerian holding midfielder, known for his absolute thunderbolts. I mean, if you've seen the goal against Arsenal for Watford, then you'll know exactly what I'm on about. He joined Middlesbrough, then Premier League Middlesbrough, in January 2017. The spell wasn't as memorable as, you know, some of his times in England with Watford and Nottingham Forest. He made 6 appearances in total before returning to Forest in the following January in 2018 for Sheffield United. I mean, so far he's made 2 appearances. We don't really know too much about him, but he's made some solid performances off the bench against Hull. I think, was it actually confirmed it was the quickest yellow card from a substitute? I don't actually
I think it might be. It was certainly the quickest on debut.
And then obviously a start against Southampton where he kind of made the McBurney goal, because it was his pressing that actually did something. And yeah, can we call him a mate of ours, Hal? I mean, he did post my graphic and you did do a video on him.
Which he's seen, as his brother has told me. So yeah, Adlen is our pal, which is probably why we actually chose him for this. And the final one for me, of course, has to be the striker, the legend, Brian Deane, who played for the Blades on 3 occasions. It would be silly of me to go through some of my favourite goals because there's just too many. For the Borough, 98-2001, 87 appearances and 18 goals. He finished his career with the Blades in 2005-2006 season. Only 2 appearances then, but really he's most well remembered for that 1988-1993 spell in the league. In 197 games, 82 goals. And Dino made the majority of his appearances for the Red and White Wizards. I have so much time for Brian Deane. And those are our player connections. Pop yours in the comments below. Bobby, do you remember what happened before we go now when we were leaving the Derby County game and we walked out of the Bramall Lane end?
Well, we were serenaded with, I mean, what can only be described as modern day Mozart. I mean,
it was beautiful.
It was the intro song, but I mean, same thing, isn't it?
It was a song by a viewer of the channel who stopped us to literally sing the music that you're about to hear in just a second. Odd, but I really enjoyed it. And if you ever see myself, Nick, or Bobby in the flesh, please do likewise. Also, we're back tomorrow for the watch along, where that music will be on at 7:15 p.m. Again, it's a 7:45 kickoff. Neil Warnocksborough versus the mighty Red and White Wizards. Bobby, thank you very much for joining us for this match preview.
No worries. No worries. Thank you for having me.